In the first game of the National League Series, Pittsburgh pitcher Jerry Royce faced the acid test. A good pitcher can keep that man on third with less than 2 outs. Jerry had a man on first and third with only 1 out, and Royce did what he had to do. He struck out Steve Yeager. But then he did the one thing pitchers are never supposed to do. He walked Dodgers pitcher Don Sutton. So when he walked Dave Lopes, the game was decided as Sutton went on to pitch a shutout. In the American League, Baltimore Power was bombing the left field seats, beginning with the game's second batter, Paul Blair. Home run. And then Brooks Robinson did it later. He knew it was gone. He's watching it. And so did Bobby Grich. Home run. By now, the fans started to get involved. Look at the guy in the white pants. Ouch. Watch and see what a difference a day can make. After making 2 errors in 1 game, Ron Cey came back with 4 hits, including a home run and 2 doubles. 1 double, another double. Bobby Grich had a great first game, but he hit into 2 double plays, and then he had this error on a ball hit by Sal Bando. And that gave Bando a chance to do this. Home run. American League Game 3 was a battle between 2 outstanding pitchers. Baltimore's Jim Palmer threw Sal Bando 2 curveballs, both fouled off. And then a slider, also fouled off. And then he threw this fastball. And it was the whole ball game. Oakland winning. And they won behind a Vida Blue, who brought back memories of Vida Blue. Man, he threw that ball hard. Blew it right by him. In the National League's 3rd game, baby-faced Pittsburgh pitcher Bruce Kison was not as nervous as he looked, deep breath and all. Because, you see, he had a 5-run lead before he made the first pitch. The American League pennant was finally decided by walks. With 2 out, Mike Cuellar walked Bando. And then he walked Reggie Jackson. Joe Rudy was intentionally walked. And with the bases loaded up came Gene Tennis. He walked to force in a run. Oakland got only 1 hit in that game. And it was this one by Reggie Jackson, which followed a Sal Bando walk. Baylor couldn't get it. Here comes Bando, and how important was it? Well, the final score was 2-1. In the other league, the final score was 12-1. And while the A's practically brag about clubhouse fights like the one they had yesterday, here's how the Dodger players welcomed pitcher Don Sutton. Hugs. One difference in the playoffs was the first ball pitchers like actor David Hartman and veteran Pirates broadcaster Bob Prince, left-hander at that. Now, this is not different. This is A's owner Charlie Finley, who is known to call up the dugout during the game. Now, what would be different would be if one day Charlie called manager Al Dark and got a busy signal.
That ball's hit into right center. Oliver can't get it. It's going all the way to the wall. Yeager will score. And they throw the ball into the Dodger dugout, and Lopes gets the score. Ball 2, strike 2. Hebner strikes out swinging.
Well, the crowd here was informed that the new pitcher is going to be...
And so, above all, our heartiest congratulations to every one of the 25 players. It has been a long year, and at no time did they quit on themselves, and it has sure paid off. Screw ball, got him swinging. The Dodgers are the champions of the National League.
Whoa! Davey, how's that feel? It feels great. It's just one more time, really, Jay. We're looking forward to the Oakland series and one step away from our ultimate goal.
That ball spread out. He crouches over the plate. The curve in the dirt bounces off to the right. The runners will move up. Next line. Here's the windup to pitch. Whoa! He walks him to first to the right. field, way back at the wall, and it is off the wall. Taylor leaped but couldn't get it. Here is Randall being waved in. The throw will not be in time. There's a swing and a drive to center for a base hit. Blair has scored. The bell goes to third. It's now 2-1 Oakland. Tang. A swing and a miss. He struck him out. Outside fastball, and Baylor went down swinging to end the ball game. And Oakland has...
I guess the man to throw out the first ball properly would be Horace Greeley, but he's not here. This is the beginning now of what has been called the Freeway Series, the Continental Tilt. For the first time in history, it's California.
Dodgers take the field, and they get a roar. We have 6 umpires assigned to the game. Behind the plate from the National League will be Tom Gorman. Bill Kunkel of the American League will be at first base. Doug Harvey of the National League at second base. Don Denkinger of the American League at third. Down the left field line will be Andy Olson of the National League, and Ron Luciano of the American League will be working the right field line. You want to know, are the umpires paid by the game? They receive $8,500 for the series, whether it's 4 games or 7, and it's an honor to be selected. Walter Alston and Alvin Dark, 2 opposing managers. They've both been in series before. Alston, only 3 managers in history have ever won more World Series than he has, and he's back for another shot at it. Now here's Andy Messersmith warming up. Vin Scully knows him well and carry you along with him.
Well, Kurt, first of all, if you look in the statistics, it says that Andy Messersmith is the 2nd strikeout pitcher in the league, back of Steve Carlton. Forget that. He has not been a strikeout pitcher for quite some time. His last game against Pittsburgh, in 7 innings, he did not strike out a batter. His start before that, he struck out 3. So forget the fact that he was 2nd in the league in strikeouts. He does not have a curveball consistently anymore ever since he hurt his elbow. And, of course, this is a fastball hitting club. If he has his curve today, he'll pitch a very good ball game. If he doesn't, he'll be in a lot of trouble.
The first man Andy Messersmith faces is Bert Campaneris, who for the year hit .290, had 2 homers, 41 runs batted in. He was a star in last year's World Series. It was between Campaneris and Jackson for the most valuable player of the series. Jackson won out. The first pitch of the '74 series is a ball as Campaneris bluffed the bunt. The 2 men in the top of the Oakland batting order, every opponent tries to keep them off the bases. They're electrifying when they can get on, and they put an early pressure on. A 1-0 delivery. And again, he bluffed the bunt and took a breaking pitch for a strike. 1-1. Bill Norris on deck. He'll be followed by Sal Bando. Messersmith is no stranger to the A's. They used to face him in the American League when he pitched for the California Angels. The 1-1 delivery. There's a high fly ball out in the left center. Going back is Jimmy Wynn. Back, he's got it. Right on the edge of the warning path, going away. And then I think we got an example of what you talked about.
the start of the game, that background, the white shirts, the glare, and Jimmy Wynn circled the ball just a bit, and he could not take his eye off that ball for fear of losing it.
There's one other thing here. The warning track is 20 feet from the wall. Up at Oakland, it's only 10 feet. So he's a little more familiar with that dirt area here.
Wynn says he's played here all year, and it still bothers him, the sun out there in the bank stands. Bill North, a ball to him. North came over to the A's in a trade with Chicago as a utility player, and he's blossomed now as an outstanding Major League center fielder. A strike to him, 1-1. He hit .260 for the season. 4 homers, 33 RBIs. This telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball, intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or the use of the pictures without the express written consent of the Commissioner of Baseball is prohibited. There's the tapper down to Ron Say at third. He fires across. You have to unload in a hurry on North. He can get down that line.
I was waiting for that pitch. It's the first one he's thrown. I would say Andy Messersmith has the best changeup, certainly in the National League, and one of the better ones I guess we've ever seen. And North hit it off the end of the bat, which, of course, is what it's designed for.
Sal Bando hit .243. It was a hard .243. He had 22 homers and 103 RBIs. He led the A's in runs batted in. He hit 2 homers in the playoffs against the Orioles. A strike to him. Bando was second in the American League in runs batted in to Jeff Burroughs. His teammate Joe Rudy was third. There's a fly ball out to left field. Coming on is Buckner, waiting. Sun bothers him, puts it away. 3 up, 3 down. At the end of the first half inning, no score. 28-year-old Kenneth Dale Holtzman, who won a big one in the playoffs last Sunday, shutting out Baltimore on the mound.
He has become a control pitcher since coming over to the American League, and he's done well in postseason ball games with a 3-1 record.
And he's done well against the Dodgers when he was in the National League, beating them 14 times against 5 losses. Dave Lopes leading it off, and Holtzman drops behind him 2-0. Lopes a .266 hitter this year with 10 homers, 35 RBI. That's a strike at the knee.
He doesn't bunt very much.
Here's that sun problem Ben was talking about. You look up at the sun and you see that bank, tears and the shirts up there. Hard to pick up the ball right off the bat immediately. 3-1. Holtzman has a fastball that tails away from a right-handed batter. Curveball, a slider, and a changeup. He's in with a fastball, 3-2. He allowed only 1 hit the first 7 innings last Sunday against Baltimore. That's strike 3. He caught him looking with a fastball. That's grabbed the outside corner. Well, Lopes is out, and Bill Buckner's coming up. All Buckner ever does is hit 300. He hit 300 in the minors. He's a .314 hitter this year. 7 homers, 58 RBI. He makes contact, Ben.
I was just going to say, for 5 weeks in August and early September, he carried the ball club.
You know, dwindling attendance in the Bay City would lead you to believe that fan interest in the Giants is way down, but don't tell it to this fan. The young standard-bearer managed to spur San Francisco on for 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th, but the Dodgers came right back in the 8th on a hit by Davy Lopes and this home run from Bill Buckner that won the game. Los Angeles seems to find a new hero every game, unless you consider Mike Marshall, who has now appeared in 11 straight and counting. Iron Mike relieved winner Andy Messersmith in the 8th and gave up only 1 hit in 2 innings.
Watch and see if he loses his bat swinging. If he does, he's in trouble.
That's a strike at the knees for Holtzman. 0-1 Holtzman this year, won 19 and lost 17. He's been very consistent since he joined the A's. That's a fly ball in the left field. Long chase for Rudy, comes over, can't grab it again. Buckner makes the big turn. Rudy, considered by many the best defensive left fielder in baseball, holds him to a single. Rudy has been a great World Series player. And he got over there and held that looper to a single. Many left fielders, it would have been a double the way Buckner can run.
One of the reasons Buckner has been hitting .300 is his ability to go with the breaking ball against the left-hander the other way.
Here's Jim Wynn up, hit .271 this year, 32 homers to lead the club, and 108 runs batted in. The Dodgers have outstanding right-handed power. And in the playoffs against the Pirates, they tore up the Pirates' left-handed pitching.
Buckner is a very good base stealer. He stole 31. He was only caught 13 times. They have to watch him.
Leaning a bit. There he goes. There's a high fly in the left field. Joe Rudi comes on, has the sunglasses down, puts it away for the second out. Buckner was running on the pitch. 2 down. Buckner back to first. And Steve Garvey. 111 RBIs for Garvey. A tremendous final game of the playoff against the Pirates with 2 homers. He hit .312. I think 3 games in a row without a hit was his longest bad streak of the year, wasn't it, Ben?
That's right. He has forearms like the village blacksmith. And against the Pirates, he hit a low line drive over the right center field fence, 385 away.
In the National League playoffs, the Dodgers swept the first 2 games in Pittsburgh, lost the third here, and then blasted the Pirates 12-1 in Game 4.
Garvey was reminiscing today about his football days at Michigan State, and he said, it's odd. My first World Series, there goes Buckner. They may have him here. The throw down, and he is out. They waited as he tried to slide around the tag. So they got him hung up. 1 hit, nobody left. At the end of the first inning, no score. And as we look down at Dodger Stadium, Reggie Jackson starts it off in the second inning for the A's. He'll be followed by Joe Rudi and Gene Tennis. Jackson says he's 80% physically capable for this series. A strike.
Let's take a look at that pickoff. Holtzman finally gave him his good pickoff move after 2 poor ones. And Tennis gets rid of the ball very quickly. Take too much time or go down for the tag. That runner can beat the throw. Buckner, a very aggressive base runner, but he guessed wrong.
A 1-strike pitch to Jackson is outside. Jackson was out of the ballpark at 8 o'clock this morning, taking Whirlpool cortisone shots for a pulled hamstring muscle. He was a designated hitter in the playoffs. It doesn't go in the World Series. So he has to run now and play the outfield. He can't come up. There's a long drive to deep left going and gone. Jackson is homered to the opposite field. The kind of power that he has, he can hit some of the longest shots in baseball. And that's the kind of power that he had in last year's World Series.
Kurt, we mentioned earlier that Andy is a home run pitcher because of his control. He's right around the plate all the time. He led the Dodger pitchers in home runs allowed with 24. So it really is no surprise that a home run hitter hits one off him.
Did Jackson play today?
Hopefully.
Reggie, what percent are you?
I don't really know, Ron. I feel 85 or so.
Unless he tells me he cannot go 98%, then he's going to be in the lineup.
You will definitely play.
Unless Charlie calls and says I can.
Reggie Jackson, troubled by a painful hamstring, uses words to convince the Oakland management he's ready. Reggie quickly switches to action, and his home run in the second inning of Game 1 convinces the Dodgers he's more than ready.
Well, the A's are on the board. They lead 1-0. Nobody on, nobody out, and Joe Rudi up. Rudi hit .293 this year, 22 homers, 99 RBIs. Ball 1. One of the most peculiar stances in baseball, you'll note. An extreme close stance, spread apart. He's no longer underrated. You've seen him enough now nationally to appreciate his outstanding ability. There's a ground ball up the middle for a base hit. Joe Rudi's on. The A's weren't a hot-hitting team at the end of the year. And, of course, they didn't hit too well in the playoffs. Nobody could against that Baltimore pitching. They had a 1 hit in the final game of the playoffs to beat Baltimore. But it's a team that makes them count. Gene Tennis, for example, hit just .211, but he had 26 homers and knocked in 73 runs and led the American League in walks. A strike. Breaking pitch of the knees to him. The A's ahead, 1-0, second inning. Rudi at first, nobody out. A ball. Tennis, an unknown name in America 2 years ago, hit 2 home runs his first 2 times at bat in the 72 World Series. It's never been done before. And went on to win the most valuable player of that series and become a national name.
2 down, George Hendrick at first, top of the second. There's a long blast to deep left. That one is going, and it is gone. A home run for Gene Tennis. And the A's grab the lead. There's a long drive deep down the left field line. That's going. Gone. Gene Tennis has hit his second home run in this World Series game. He is not a home run hitter.
He's considered an outstanding fastball hitter.
That's right. And he fouls it back. Been in the playoffs, and Tony will tell you, he didn't see a fastball. He just curve to him.
That's one reason why I'm wondering about Messersmith's curve, which is going to tell us just how he's going to do today.
You can tell right here against Tennis. He's being played deep and toward left. There's his breaking pitch. A good one right off the end of the table. Struck him out with it. First strikeout for Messersmith.
That's the best pitch he's made today. Not just he struck the man out, but it was the first good curveball, the kind that most people in the National League felt. Going into the All-Star game, Messersmith had the best stuff in the league. Then he hurt himself, and he has not been quite the same since.
While Sutton came the other way and finished.
Amazing.
The way Messersmith was starting. Ray Fosse, 196 average, hurt most of the year. Sends a slow bounder, cut off by Say for one. Lopes is taken out at second by Joe Rudy. So winds up a force out from Say to Lopes, 2 down. Fosse's at first. And Dick Green up.
The scouting report about Davy Lopes that the A's had was that he takes the double play pivot toward the third base side. And you'll see this as the base runner slides in trying to upset him. Those are the little things that scouts look for that might force a wild throw.
I might add also, Davy Lopes is a converted outfielder.
2 down. The first pitch to Dick Green's a strike. Green again hampered by injuries this year. He had back surgery 3 years ago. He figured in one of the grand strategies of baseball year before last, when the A's would use 4 second basemen in the game, and none of them would ever get the bat. They'd pinch hit for each one. Struck him out. 2 strikeouts for Messersmith. Jackson had a leadoff homer. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 left. End of an inning and a half. 1-0 Oakland. Garvey, Ferguson, and Say for the Dodgers. Last of the second. Holtzman's in with a strike. We're talking about Steve Garvey in Michigan State. Ironically, in the opening game of this series, his old alma mater, Michigan State's playing their hated rival, Michigan, this afternoon. There's a shot into right field. Base hit. Fielded on a hop by Jackson. Well, Garvey continues where he left off in the Pirate series. Joe Ferguson hit .252 at 16 homers, 57 RBIs. Got off to a bad start, didn't he, Vin?
Yes, he's not an aggressive player. He's a big, gentle kind of a guy, and the Dodgers try to light a fire under him, and he takes too many pitches, is what the experts say.
Inside and low. Holtzman keeping the ball down so far. That's low and away. 2-0. Now Fosse decides you better talk to him. One of the keys to watch for today will be Jackson's leg in right field. How much ground can he cover? Playing with a pull hamstring muscle. How much? He says he's not going to go all out on the bases of the outfield. He doesn't want to rip that muscle again.
And I know the Dodger base runners will run on the Oakland outfield.
That's ball 3. Alvin Dark. The center of the eye of the hurricane all year. Ferguson walks. The Dodgers have runners on first and second. Nobody out. Ron Say is coming up. The Penguin, as they call him here, with his Penguin-like run with .262, 18 homers, 97 RBIs. You talked about it, Vin. We have on national television. Does he mind being kidded about running like a penguin?
No, not really. And despite the fact that he waddles and runs stiff-legged and rather funny, he has average running speed by the clock.
He has a better-than-average bat. Against San Diego, he knocked in 8 runs in a night game, and against the Cubs, He knocked in 6 runs in an afternoon game. And Holtzman is high and away. It's 5 balls in a row delivered by Holtzman. Alarasta 7 RBIs against the Cubs. Anyway, it was a good afternoon. Runners on first and second. Nobody out. A slow roller to short. They go for 1. They turn it over. Out at first base. Very close. They get the important double play, and Junior Gilliam's out there arguing. The first base coach, Say, is unhappy. Let's take a look at it, Tony.
You're seeing one of the underrated double play combinations in baseball. Campy charged the ball well. And look at Dick Green with the on-charging runner. A very close play at first base, and an argument from Jim Gilliam. Here's Campy. He got that ball on the edge of the infield grass, and one of the most agile second basemen around. And was he off the bag?
I would say that he cheated and wasn't even on the bag for the first out.
Over the years, the phantom double play. Dick Green, the reason he made that play is that one of the strongest throwing arms of any second baseman. He can put something on the ball as he's pivoting. 2 down for the Dodgers. Garvey's at third. Bill Russell up. 269 hitter. The strike to him. And Bando's in tight at third. Tennis is in tight at first. Russell has speed. There's a bounding ball to Campanera. Very strong arm. Throws right on the money. And the Dodgers had no runs. They hit. They left 1 at the end of 2. 1-0 Oakland. Ken Holtzman in a strange role as a batter. With the designated hitting role, there's Cary Grant. He's an avid baseball fan. One ball, 1 strike to Holtzman. He's hit a couple of home runs in his major league career. One against Negro and Jim McLaughlin. 3-2. This is what gets a manager a little upset. Going a full count to a pitcher, and even more so if he walks him. And they're going to appeal, but it's ball 4. Messersmith walks the pitcher to lead off the third. On a check swing.
First base umpire Bill Kunkel of the American League. That's where the appeal went with the right-handed hitter Holtzman. Holtzman took a very close pitch. You can see from that center field camera how close it was. It looked low.
Oh.
Tom Gorman, this is 5th World Series behind the plate, so he's no rookie there.
Campanera's flied to deep center his first time. Little fella, but he'll sting one now and then. Right now they're playing for the bunt. Dumped out in front of the plate. Messersmith goes to first baseman Garvey. Sacrifice for Campaneris. Holtzman is at second. 1 out. Bill North coming up. He bounced to third base his first time. There goes his bat. 0-1 to Bill North. Threw that fastball right by him. I think that was his fastest pitch of the ball game, Ben.
I'm still surprised, unless he's trying to throw the book out the window. We have not seen him throw his fabled change hardly at all. He got North to hit it off the end of the bat to Say in the first inning, and that's about the only time we've seen it.
Let's see what he does here. There it is. There it is. That's a great change.
Oh, it's marvelous.
He doesn't tip it. It comes in just a little bit off.
As the ball players say, it's a fastball that's about 1.5 feet short.
You can see he has a little movement on the ball also. He turns it over a shade, and it tails away from the left-handed hitter.
The third strikeout for Andy Messersmith. He's walked 1. The lone run of the game, a leadoff homer in the second to the opposite field by Jackson. Holtzman in second, 2 down. Fouled away by Sal Bando. These two teams are practically strangers. They've only played each other once. That was an exhibition game last year. They train in different locales. The Dodgers at Vero Beach. The A's in Arizona. That pitch, there's a cross-up.
Yep.
And going out is Yeager. What happened?
Well, one of the things, when Andy is given his sign, he is also given his location.
And he may have gotten fooled on the switch with that man on second base, and I think he lost a strike because Yeager had popped up for the fastball, shielding Gorman out.
1-1 count to Bando, who flied to left his first time. That's strike 2 to him.
Most catchers, when they give the sign, if it's not in the sign, will be either the thumb or the pinky as to the location, inside or out.
2-2 count.
So you could actually take a close-up of Yeager, and you would see the location where he wants the ball. I'm not going to tell you what the sign is, but let's watch. All right, see the pinky? Away.
Struck him out. 2 strikeouts that inning. No runs, no hits. They left 1 at the end of 2.5. 1-0 Oakland. The Dodgers send up Steve Yeager to lead off the last of the third. He hit .266 this season. A little more power than the year before. 12 homers, 41 RBIs. It'll be Yeager, Messersmith, and then Dave Lopes at the top of the order against Ken Holtzman. Bounding ball up the middle. It's a base hit by Yeager. He's on. And for the second inning in a row, the Dodgers have had their leadoff man on.
Number 47.
Messersmith.
Andy Messersmith.
Dodgers now have out-hit the A's 3-2.
They'll be looking for the bunt, but Benny, he's a pretty good hitter.
Yes, he is.
Sometimes do they switch?
Oh, yes, absolutely. But not so much with Yeager, the runner. Had it been somebody else, they might play hit and run with him.
Ken Holtzman, for the third year in a row, is opening the World Series for the A's. And he's away from him. 2 balls and a strike. The first pitcher to do this since Whitey Ford. Whitey started 4 openers in a row with the Yankees back in 61, 62, 63, and 64. The playoffs throw a pitching staff out of killer now. But sometimes your top pitcher, like Hunter, will be pitching in the 3rd game, depending where they placed him and what he had to do in the playoffs, and did the playoffs go to 4 or 5 games.
He's given Andy a tough time. He's given him hard breaking balls to bunt, and if you get him at all, you're going to pop him back, which is just what he's done. Now, with 2 strikes on him, that's the big gamble for Alston. Will he have him bunt?
He's swinging away, and he hits a fly ball in the center. Bill North watches it drop in front of him. North did not get a good jump on that ball.
No, as far as the National League is concerned, North is not a particularly good outfielder, but because of his great speed, he makes up for it. But again, looking into this birthday cake stands, he got no jump on the ball at all.
And he knows it. When that ball leaves the bat against the haze, the packed stand, the glare of the sun over the edge of the stadium, very difficult to quickly pick up the ball off the bat. And it doesn't take a fraction of a second to lose those 2 or 3 steps. Dave Lopes up, the Dodgers runners on 1st and 2nd. Holtzman trying to keep the ball up high on a bunt situation. 2 balls, no strikes to Dave Lopes. He swings and lofts the high fly in a shallow left. Campaneris weighs Rudy off. Look out, look out. Rudy grabs it in foul ground. They still collided, even though Campaneris had waved him away. Usually the oncoming man has the better shot, the easier play.
This is one of the problems of World Series play. You can see Campy waving off and also yelling, but you cannot hear each other. And with that sun as glaring as it is, they cannot afford to take their eye off that ball for 1 split second.
Lopes swinging away at a 2-0 pitch. Fouls to left. 1 out. Yeager's at 2nd. Holtzman has not been a strikeout pitcher in the last 3 years. He averaged just 4 strikeouts every 9 innings this year. There's a high fly ball, deep left. Rudy's back. He'll be under it. 2 down. Runners go halfway and return. So we have 3 putouts for Joe Rudy so far. Now it's Jim Wynn up. Wynn flying to left his first time.
He set a Dodger record for home runs since they are playing at Dodger Stadium with 32 this year. Frank Howard at 31. And the left center field bleachers have been officially proclaimed Cannon Country. His nickname in Houston was the Toy Cannon, and the left center field bleachers are called Cannon Country. That's some other country over there.
2 down, runners on 1st and 2nd. A breaking pitch is over for a strike to Wynn. Wynn will have his elbow operated on after the series. He has a loose chip. He's been playing with pain in that Right elbow of his all year. A ball. He made a quote in the paper, Ben, and Tony, I don't know how true it was. He said he was so happy to be with the Dodgers that he gives Spec Richardson, the general manager of the Houston club, his World Series share. I saw Spec last night. He said, I'll take it. Glad to have it. 1-1. There's a bounding ball to Bando. Steps on third for the force out. And again, Holtzman wriggles out of a jam. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. At the end of 3, 1-0 Oakland. One swing of the bat by this man is the difference in the game. He led off the second inning with a home run to the opposite field. Let's take a look at it. Just raw power by Reggie Jackson. Let her high pitch, and look at that one. Over the 385 mark up in the left field bleachers, Jackson's home run. 1-0 Oakland. It's Jackson, Rudy, and Tennis in the fourth. Jackson was off to a flying start this season. Cooled off over the last half, but still wound up with impressive credentials. 29 homers, 93 runs batted in. Ball one. I've seen him hit 2 of the longest home runs I've ever seen, Tony and myself. One off the top of the scoreboard at Bloomington, Minnesota. They measured it over 500 feet. And his home run in the All-Star game at Detroit that struck a light standard on top of the roof. Still going, was rising as it left the park. 2-0. When he hits them, he usually just stands and looks and drops the bat.
You know, in Messersmith's behalf, I don't think Jackson hit a bad pitch at all. He just happens to be a good hitter.
3-0. Just missing with the changeup, Messersmith, and Jackson walks to lead off the fourth. Messersmith has walked 4, or walked 2 and struck out 4. And Joe Rudy's up. He singled up the middle his first time. Throw to first. Look out. He's just back. They nearly had him picked off on a snap throw by Yeager, who unloaded that ball in a hurry.
I think around the National League, they'll tell you that Yeager throws with Johnny Bench.
The ball arrives just as quickly, and this quick snap tag by Garvey just misses the left foot. He is very agile behind the plate. Denny, he's done this all year long for you.
Yeah, he's a marvelous arm.
You don't wander off any base on him. 1 ball, no strikes. That's the hook at the knees that caught the outside corner. 1-1 to Rudy. Foul back to first base. Struck him out. 5 strikeouts for Messersmith.
It's been a long time since we've seen Andy strike out as many hitters as we had.
We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network. This is Kurt Gowdy, Vin Scully, and Tony Kubek with you from Dodger Stadium. We're in the 4th inning. Oakland ahead 1-0. They've been out-hit by the Dodgers 4-2. That's hit the third. Say up. Down to second for 1. Lopes turns. Safe at first base. Dennis hustled down that line and just beat the throw.
Here's Say once again. He gets rid of the ball quickly. Lopes comes across the bag, and he might have done a little bit of cheating, as we saw Dick Green do earlier. He just missed at first base.
I've seen third basemen with more velocity on their throws. I have never seen a guy day in and day out throw with the accuracy of Ron Say. It's amazing.
And that's important because in that infield, we've seen a lot of third basemen go to the outfield with scatter arms. Strong arms, but just don't have the accuracy to first or to start the double play around the horn. 2 down. Tennis at first. The ball to Ray Fosse. Fosse had a 3-run homer in the playoffs against the Orioles. He's had bad luck. He was hurt this year, breaking up Jackson and North in a fight. Pete Rose barreled into him in the All-Star game in '71. His shoulder was bad for a year and a half. 2 balls, no strikes.
Kurt, that was one of the pluses that came out of the American League Championship Series. Ray Fosse's throwing. He threw better than he had most of the year.
They figure to give him all breaking stuff. Now that he's behind 2-0, let's see if they gamble with a fastball.
That's the strike. After you leave Campaneris and North at the top of the order, of course, Jackson can run, but throughout the order, the Dodgers would appear to have more team speed.
Andy has a quick move to first. Mike Marshall has one, too.
2-1 pitch. Runner going. There's the drive down the left field line. Just foul. And with a runner going, Tennis had a chance to score. Had that been a fair ball.
He's a first-year, first World Series umpire, is Andy Olson, and he had the shot for it.
Now we have a count of 2-2 to Ray Fosse. Mean pitch. One of the best for Messersmith of the game. Again, 2 strikeouts. No runs. Mayor and Mrs. Bradley watching the opening game of the World Series. She missed only 6 Dodger games all year. She's one of the more rabid Dodger fans. This is Steve Garvey leading off. I think the mayor and the Oakland mayor had a bet on the series. Garvey fouls the back. He's swinging a hot bat. He lined a shot to right field to lead off the second. Casey Stengel. Little Stengelese in the stands today.
84, the 30th of July.
Yogi Berra. Guess he's seen enough World Series. Ground ball to short. Campanera scoops and fires, and there's 1 down. In that Holtzman deal, the Cubs got Rick Mundy to play the outfield. Joe Ferguson walked his first time. Out at the knees, a little bit inside. He's fighting those corners, Ben.
And how?
0-1. 1-0 Oakland. Curve is over. Oh, beautiful. 0-2.
We were saying earlier, he takes those pitches too much.
Ron Say on deck. The outfield deep for Ferguson. They respect his power, and he strikes out in a curveball. 3 pitches and 2 down. Holtzman has struck out 2. Holtzman looks better this inning, I believe, than any of the previous 3 innings.
I guess there have been 2 big plays so far. Say hitting into the double play, and Alston gambling with 2 on and the 2-0 count to Lopes and having him swing away. I guess that's the key to the game up to here.
Ron Say. He's played as a pull hitter to left. Ben Scully can tell you for years the Dodgers have searched for a third baseman. What do they have, 45 or 47 different players in that position?
Twice as many as Coxey's Army, I know that.
There's a ground ball in the left field for a base hit. Say is on, Rudy's up with the ball, but now they have their man. He's young and he's well set for the future. Ron Say, who has just singled.
Here's that run. If you're a right-handed batter, they consider average speed 4.3 seconds to first base. Average speed left-hander, 4.1 seconds to first base. And Say is average for a right-handed hitter.
Bill Russell grounded to short his first time. The 2-1 pitch. Ground ball. Campanera. Here comes Say to third. The throw wild. Bando has to stab it off the bag. And the Dodgers have runners on first and third, 2 down. Ball got by Bando.
Had a chance to see this infield you told us about earlier as the ball was deflected. It picked up a little English and then took a little erratic hop off the left wrist of Bert Campaneris. And Say hustled to get the third.
And as we point out, it takes at least average speed or better to go as far as Ron did.
Runners on first and third, 2 down. 1-0 Oakland, last of the 4th inning, and Steve Yeager's the batter. Yeager single to center his first trip.
He did not get a base hit in the 4-game playoff with Pittsburgh.
There's a ground ball to Campanera. A play to second. Force out, side retired. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. At the end of 4, the A's won, the Dodgers nothing. Charlie Finley with his Bear Bryant hat and the green of the Oakland A's, yelling a little encouragement out. I said at the opening of the show he was being sued for $2.5 million. I think I said Mike Lewis by mistake. It's Mike Andrews, who became the, sort of the fan of the nation when he was dropped in the World Series last year. Bowie Kuhn, the commissioner of baseball, and his wife. Pitches high and away, 1-1. The man in the dark suit is Herb Schlosser, president of NBC. There's a ball hit sharply to Ron Say, and Dick Green is out, third to first. $1.5 million. Boy, I'd be a little nervous before the series. 1-0 Oakland. A strike to Holtzman. Messersmith and Holtzman still dueling, the starting pitchers. 6 strikeouts for Andy, a high pitch. 1-1. Took something off. 1-2. Playing Holtzman to the opposite field. He tried to tease him in the corner. Missed outside. 2-2. It's what the ball players call a high sky today, not a cloud in the sky. That's a base hit by Holtzman. Down the left field line, he has a chance for 2. Holtzman, who didn't come to bat once this year, is into second base with a double.
Holtzman, the first A's pitcher to bat all year long, has another surprise in store. Last year, his hitting ability at World Series time shocked the New York Mets. Now it's Andy Messersmith's turn as Holtzman smacks a sharp double down the left field line.
Here's the swing by Holtzman.
Say, playing way off the bag at third, you don't expect a pitcher to pull the ball, especially when he hasn't swung the bat very often this year.
Well, he's a World Series hitter, Tony. He had 2 out of 3 last year in the series. Holtzman is second, 1 out. He's been on twice at the bottom of the order. Gets away. There goes Holtzman to third. The outside pitch boxed around by Yeager, and now the A's have a runner on third, 1 out.
This will make it doubly tough on the Dodger infield. They're going to have to play up. And, of course, Campaneris is the kind of a man who does squeeze and has squeezed in the past.
That was scored a wild pitch against Messersmith. In the last A's game against the Orioles, they're out hit 5-1, but beat the Orioles 2-1 in the clinching game for the American League. The A's have been out hit today. He'll work out of the stretch. The infield in. 2 balls and a strike to Campaneris. Trying to go to right with it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Hey, Bobby Winkles, we heard the yell, Campy, up here. Call him down. Runner on third, 1 out. Here he comes. Suicide squeeze, they get him in. A perfectly executed suicide squeeze. Holtzman running on the pitch, and it was 2 strikes to the batter. Campaneris did it.
The Dodgers are being beaten by the book because they know he's a squeezed man. We mentioned that he is, and there it is, and there's not very much you can do when it's perfectly executed.
Campy's bunt is letter perfect, and the A's lead 2-0.
A lot is emphasis put on that batter getting the ball down, and that's important, but it's also important that the base runner does not leave too soon. If he leaves too soon, they'll throw the ball right at the hitter or pitch out. Got to wait till he releases the ball.
Campaneris, an RBI. The A's lead 2-0. In the top of the 5th inning, Bill North has bounced out and struck out. Messersmith's giving him trouble with changeups. That pitch is low. 2 balls and no strikes to North. And the suicide squeeze looks like it shook Messersmith up a bit. 2-0 delivery. A strike at the knees, 2-1 to North. Sal Bando's on deck. Dodger fans a little uneasy now. You hear some rumbling through the stands. At 3-2 delivery. It's outside, and one of the best base runners in the game is on, Bill North. 54 stolen bases. He led the American League. There are 2 down. Sal Bando is fly to left and struck out. So keep your eyes at Bill North at first with 2 down. And the A's ahead 2-0 in the top of the 5th.
Normally, the hitter who hits back of a base-running threat gets a lot of fastballs because the pitcher wants to get that ball to the catcher. But Bando likes fastballs, and they want to give him breaking balls. So it's going to be a lot of pressure here on Yeager. Is he going to call for the curve with a guy like North, or will he dare Bando's bat and call for fastballs?
2 down, Bill North at first. Messersmith, a quick move again. He's back.
He's really quick.
Andy with a good pickoff move, and I can see Alvin Dark in the corner of that dugout saying, Herb Washington, watch the move.
There he goes. The throw, beauty. He's got him. Perfect throw by Steve Yeager. And Bill North is out. Second baseman took the bag. 1 run, 1 hit, nobody left.
There it is again, a good quick release by Messersmith, and watch the agility of Steve Yeager. You talk about a strong arm, but it's all in that footwork and positioning and balance, and he's got it all.
Great throw by Yeager at the end of 4 1/2. It's Oakland 2, Los Angeles nothing. Well, we're halfway through. Tony Kubek here in the gleaming yellow jacket. Vin Scully, the voice of the Dodgers, ready to take over with a play-by-play. And we've got some ball game going, Vin, in Game 1 of the 74 series.
I would say it's the best we've seen Messersmith look in over a month. So the A's are beating a very good pitcher right now.
Grab her and go.
Okay. The Dodgers, who have been sputtering, getting men on but leaving them there, will start with Messersmith. It's 2-0 Oakland. Bottom of the 5th, a bunt fouled away. That's Darrell Knowles. Check me. Make that rolling fingers down there. Knowles was up a minute ago. Glenn Abbott was also up earlier. But the big man is up now.
Knowles was up, and they might have just had him tuning up. That he hasn't pitched much lately.
0-1 to Andy. That's over. Big, slow curve. Andy is capable of hitting a home run. Fastball. And it seemed to sink. Down he goes. That'll be strikeout number 3 for Kenny Holtzman. He averages 4 a game. And it'll bring up Davy Lopes, who will consume a little time. On a hot day, he wants Messersmith to get back to the dugout.
Vin, has the Dodger ball club during the course of the year been the kind of team that will adjust to a pitcher? I noticed that Holtzman is keeping everything away. They continue, the right-hand hitters, to try and pull the ball.
No, I would say they're human. If they have it in their mind to pull, they're going to try and pull and go right down the drain pulling. Ball 1. They play Bando up, but as we mentioned, Lopes rarely bunts. And Holtzman is considered a good fielding pitcher. Big chopper to short, and Cavanero boots it, picks it up, no play. He decides to charge the ball, Tony, and actually he had the easier play rather than get caught on the short hop.
I think he heard your report before the ball game, Vin, where you said it's like a rock pile out there. He wanted to get it before it took that extra hop, and he might have overcharged the ball.
Tony, let me correct you. I worked here all year. I did not say it was a rock pile. I said it is the hardest infield to play, period.
Ron Sayers said that many times, too. You know, he almost looked like he kicked the ball out of his glove, the left foot.
Yeah, he was worrying. All right, here's Buckner with Lopes at first, 1 out. Can't be drawing an error. There's a decision to be made here under these circumstances about whether to have Lopes go or not. When you have a left-hand hitter like Buckner up, Walter Alston primarily likes to keep the first baseman anchored on the bag so the left-hand batter can pull to the hole. However, Buckner has not been getting pitches to pull. He's gone the other way twice. Fastball, pull foul. Earlier, he dropped a fly ball single to left. Last time up, he flied to left because he's had to go with the breaking ball. 0-1 to Buckner. And he goes. Hit and run. A big bouncer into right field. Lopes being waved to third. Jackson bobbles the ball, but Buckner's going to hold. Coming to the plate is Lopes to score.
And then you were right in another regard earlier in the ballgame when you said the Dodger runners will go on the arms of the Oakland A's outfielders. Jackson has an exceptionally strong arm, but they know it is erratic.
I'll tell you the other thing on Reggie Jackson. Granted, he has a strong arm velocity-wise. It is not that accurate, but, and he did it today, they said on balls hit in front of him, he has a tendency to bobble the ball. And sure enough, as he charged the base hit, he bobbled it, and Lopes was able to score. The throw is up the line. It was hurried and off the glove of catcher Fossey.
Looked like he was coming all the way anyway.
The Dodgers illustrate their aggressiveness in the bottom of the fifth with Davy Lopes and Bill Buckner executing the run and hit. Lopes scores all the way from first, and the Dodgers are on the scoreboard.
So a hit-and-run single, 2 errors in the inning. It is 2-1 Oakland. And here's Jimmy Wynn. Slide to left, hit into a force play. Ball 1, and Buckner, intimidated, was going back to the bag as Holtzman was coming to the plate.
We saw the same thing happen a couple of pitches ago when Lopes was on first base.
Turned it over away, ball 2. Ball 3. Nope, wasn't going. Ball 4.
Raleigh Fingers ready in the bullpen. Alvin Dark looking out. And this may be all for Holtzman.
Well, there's a break in the action here in Los Angeles. It is 2-1 Oakland in the 5th inning. And out on the mound, rolling Fingers. Kenny Holtzman went 4 1/3 innings. He allowed at least 1 run, 7 hits, walked 2 and struck out 3. And for Holtzman, followed somewhat of a pattern. He started the first game in the 72 and 73 series, and he went 5 innings in each game. And so he starts this year, and he comes out in the 5th inning. Although it must be pointed out, Campaneris, who was spooked by the infield, started his troubles with the error, and then Jackson bobbling the base hit, and that just about finished him off when he walked Jimmy Wynn. Tony, you've looked at rolling Fingers, so it occurred more times than I have. Isn't this a little early for him?
It is. He is basically a power pitcher, fastball slider, and you've got to wonder if John Odom getting hurt in a fight yesterday, spraining his ankle with Fingers, who has 5 stitches in the head, has not changed Alvin Dark's pitching plans. I would think the long relief man from the right side would have been John Odom.
He's mean against right-handers, comes in with that sidearm stuff. A powerhouse pitcher.
Garvey has one thing going for him. If he is jammed, he's still strong enough to muscle the ball out of the infield. Good breaking ball, 0-1. Boy, it's nice to come in out of the bullpen, throw that breaking ball, and get it over right away. 0-2.
This fellow's used to World Series competition. He's now pitched in 13 of the A's last 15 World Series games.
Fastball. So 2 breaking balls, and then he ran the fastball on the hands to strike him out. He made some very big pitches. And now here's Joe Ferguson. Fergie walked in the 2nd inning. Walter Olson, accustomed to seeing the Dodgers try to scramble from behind. As he says, in his years in baseball, he's learned that nothing can surprise him. We'll see whether Fergie comes out swinging or not. Remember, he looked at 2 strikes and then went down swinging last time up. Half swing on a breaking ball, fouled away. All you have to do is see the way Fingers has worked Garvey and now Ferguson to realize just how tough he can be on those right-handers. He's inside their shirts. Fastball hit him, I believe. Yep. So Fergie to first, Wynn to second, Buckner to third. Watch it again. It'll tail in on him. Joe tries to get out of the way, but there's nowhere he can go. So Ron Say coming up with the bases loaded, 2 out in the 5th. Oakland 2, Dodgers 1. Buckner at 3rd, Wynn at 2nd, Ferguson at 1st. Say hit into a double play in the 2nd inning and then singled in the 4th. Ronnie just missed having 100 RBIs during the year. He was overshadowed a little bit by Garvey and Wynn, but he was right on their heels. Fly ball to left field. Rudy is right there. Crowd looking at that with their hearts, and the Dodgers get a run 2 errors and a hit and leave 3. At the end of 5, Oakland 2, Dodgers 1.
Manager Alvin Dark wastes no time going to his relief ace, Raleigh Fingers. National League Most Valuable Player Steve Garvey's at the plate, giving the largest crowd in Dodger Stadium history cause for optimistic thoughts. But Fingers pitches the A's out of danger.
The first game of the World Series sets an attendance record for Dodger Stadium. The paid attendance, 55,974, breaking the record by 21 people just set the other day against Pittsburgh. Sal Bando, ball 1. Bando is basically a high fastball hitter, but he's seeing a lot of breaking stuff. Fouls this one away, 1-1. Fouled away, 1-2. Oh, the change got him. I mentioned earlier, looking at Andy every 4 days all year, this is the best we've seen him pitch in a long time. That's 7 strikeouts for Andy. So I start off the broadcast telling you how much I know about forget his strikeouts.
Then
he hasn't done any.
He established that fastball early, which was very important, I think, in his strategy. And now he's going a little more to the changeup.
Here is Reggie Jackson. Home run to the opposite field and walk. Ball 1. He's a low fastball hitter, so Andy started him up high. Ball 1. On deck, Joe Rudy. Comebacker. And that'll do it for Reggie. 2 down. Joe Rudy coming up. Their toughest out. Fine ball player. He had a base hit and struck out, 1 for 2. Joe has the reputation, among other things, of being a first ball hitter, so the Dodgers have to keep an eye about that.
Almost a self-made player, Vin.
2-1 Oakland. 6th inning, 2 out. High pop fly. Russell calling, battling the glare. That'll do it. They're gone in order, and at the end of 5.5 innings, the score, Oakland 2 and the Dodgers 1. It'll be Bill Russell to start it off, then Steve Yeager and Andy Messersmith. Ball 1. Those who watch Fingers all the time, now they see him working on a kid named Russell. They say that with all of his great stuff, when he falls into a trap is when he tries to pitch to spots. 1-1. In other words, if he just relaxes and lets his stuff do the talking, he is some pitcher. When he suddenly decides to nibble at the corners, then he gets in trouble. So we'll watch that. Big chopper wide to third. Bando across to first. 1 away.
Bando's not a flashy player, but a very solid player. Strong, accurate arm. Not a outstanding range, but when it gets to the ball, he has sure hands and knows what to do with it.
The great word they apply to him, steady. Yeager has singled and hit into a force play. He's 1 for 2. Hit down the right field line, slicing on Jackson. No play. It's in the seats.
Watching Jackson run, Vinny, he ran very well toward the corner. He is not limping the way he was 3 or 4 days ago.
You know, we noticed when he came up in the 2nd inning, we'll take a look at him.
The trouble comes in when he tries to start. Once he gets going and gets a smooth stride going, he's all right, but a fast start out of the box or after a ball might injure him.
He did some stretching in the on-deck circle earlier, and you could read his lips. He said, ouch. He hurt himself then. 1-1 to Yeager. Fastball.
How do you like that wax job? Huh?
He looks like a man in search of a barbershop quartet. 2-2. Fastball. Down he goes. So Fingers makes that look easy. 2 down. And Andy Messersmith coming up. Messersmith has allowed 3 hits, 2 runs. As a hitter, he is 1 for 2, singled and struck out. Hit on the hands and a fly ball to left center. Could be trouble. It's going to drop. So Joe Rudy gets it back in. So Messersmith was fisted and still able to push it into left center for a base hit. That means the Dodgers, spinning their wheels in the sand here, have had at least 1 hit in every inning.
Maybe we should put these pitchers up in the cleanup spot.
Davy Lopes coming up. They let him swing 3-1. Remember, they took the bunt off and let Lopes swing 2-0 in the 3rd inning with 2 on, and that's probably the biggest gamble that failed so far in the game. So a full count and 2 down. Messersmith will be going from first. Little fly ball into shallow right center, but Jackson has to come and get it. North comes over with him, and it's North. And Jackson dropped to his right knee. So the Dodgers are gone on a base hit, and at the end of 6, 2-1 Oakland.
NBC keeps it going. They'll have National Hockey League again with Tim Ryan. And right now we have the Oakland A's wives. The fans, they had a little dispute last year, the wives. They were mad at their seats given to them in Shea Stadium in New York, protested, and Mr. Finley the next day moved them from upstairs downstairs. Always something going with the Oakland A's. Right now they have a 2-1 lead, Ben, as they go to the 7th inning in Game 1.
I guess in a sense it would be a combination of very good pitching on each side and Dodger futility. The Dodgers so far have left 9 men in 6 innings, while Oakland has left but 3. 2 runs, 3 hits, 2 errors for Oakland, 1 run, 8 hits, no errors for the Dodgers. So Messersmith's pitching well, but it's not good enough up to here. Gene Tennis struck out and hit into a force play. Breaking ball down and away. Tennis, an excellent fastball hitter. 2-0. 3-1. Fastball, and he got stung. So you fall behind, and you have to go to the hitter's strength, and it turns out to be a base hit. That's hit number 4 for Oakland, and it'll bring up Fosse.
Fosse. Catcher.
Breaking ball away. So they're expecting Fosse to bunt, and he missed with the breaking ball. That's Mike Marshall. And it comes as no surprise. 1-0. He got the bunt foul and actually hit that thing almost off his ear. 1-1. Watch it coming up inside.
I think he went after a bad pitch. Could have been 2-0. Couldn't bring the bat back.
He fouled the bunt in the dirt behind the plate, and the count will be 1-2. Tommy Gorman gave it the quick call.
Been a bad week for Marshall, hasn't it? 1 inning, he's pitched all week. That's real vacation for him.
Yeah, he has to pitch a lot of batting practice if he's not in a game. I've seen a lot of excellent relief pitches, but it's incredible how a human body can take what it takes, but he's in there all the time. 1-2 the count to Ray Fosse. He's still bunting and fouled it, so he struck out. So they kept the bunt on twice with 2 strikes. It paid off once when Campanera squeezed home the run, but this time down goes Fosse. So that also means 8 strikeouts for Andy Messersmith. Dick Green struck out, grounded to third, 0 for 2. They like to play hit and run with Green, with the pitcher Roland Fingers due up next. We'll see if they have a hit and run play. Not in time. Yeager's taking his best shot at the runners. Watch the quick release of Yeager. He does not have to waste much time. It's gone, and it's down there in a hurry.
At first base umpire Bill Kunkles has some close plays today.
Good reach to save the play. Bill Kunkel in his first World Series. Don Denkinger, the third base umpire, is also in his first World Series. There goes the runner, hit and run, and a fly ball into left field. Buckner has a play. We'll see if he one-hands it as usual. Nope, it's the World Series. Two hands.
They say he made some marvelous plays this year in left field.
Kurt, I'll be honest with you, in 25 years of looking at baseball every day, I have never seen a player make so many dramatic and sensational plays in one season at one position as he made. Really, some of them bordered on the incredible. He hit the foul pole head on. Caught the ball, was knocked flat. It's just been that kind of a year.
Dives and tumbles and everything.
Incredible. Ground ball to say. He'll go the short way to Lopes. Little high, but it's the World Series. They're gone in the 7th at the end of 6.5. Oakland, 2-1. 2-1 Oakland. Bottom of the 7th. Here's Buckner. Single to left. Fly to left. Single to right. Hit to left field. Rudy going back and has a play.
Right to him.
One away. Joy doing well out there. It is a very tough field to play, and he hasn't hesitated once.
He made one of the best catches in the history of the World Series 2 years ago off the bat of Dennis Menke, leaping up in the wall in Cincinnati. Going away, his glove turned around, palm to the plate, crumpled to the ground with the ball. A tremendous catch. It'll always be remembered.
There's a long drive to deep left. That ball going, and it is caught by Rudy. Joe Rudy rubs it with extra bases against the wall, and they nearly double up Perez at first. What a grab by Joe Rudy.
That's the play of the series as Rudy goes back. Not only does he have a tough play, he's got to fight the sun. He goes up and makes the catch up against the fence and nearly starts a double play. Looked like he almost pressed the ball against the wall, but he had it in the webbing of his glove, got it back in, and Perez had to dart back to first base to avoid the double play.
Well, here's Jimmy Wynn. He flied to left, hit into a force play, and walked. Kept it on top of him. Holtzman kept it away, and Jimmy trying to pull went 0 for 2. I'll give you an idea of the ballpark and the record-breaking crowd. 55,974, taken from overhead by the helicopter. That's a strike. 1-1 to Jimmy Wynn. Boy, that is some shot from high atop Los Angeles, looking right down on the ballpark.
Then Sal Bando is really on top of that line now in the late innings against the right-handed batter at third.
Yeah, 1-run lead. They don't want an extra base hit. High fly ball to center field. Bill North is there. And puts it away. 2 down.
Let's watch him against Steve Garvey now with 2 down. Bando at third.
Garvey went with Holtzman and singled to right. Then in the 4th inning, he grounded to short. And in the 5th inning, Fingers just gave him 2 good breaking balls down and away, and then rammed him with a fastball on the hands to strike him out. It was a classic bit of pitching applied by Roland Fingers to Steve Garvey. 2 out in the 7th, 2-1 Oakland. Fastball and a chopper to Campaneris. Got him. So the Dodgers are gone in order, and at the end of 7, Oakland 2, and the Dodgers 1. Eighth inning, 2-1 Oakland. And Bert Campaneris, a first ball hitter, promptly hit the first ball into center field for a base hit. Of course, Campaneris hit the first ball he ever saw in the big leagues for a home run, so it's no surprise. Here's Bill North. That's hit number 5 off Andy Messersmith.
This is the setup the A's want now. They have their leadoff batter on, an outstanding base runner. North and Bando and Jackson to follow.
First time he's been on today. The bunt is down. Andy's play has to go to Garvey, and the sacrifice works. So they're 2 out of 3 in bunt attempts. They got a squeeze for a run, and now the sacrifice. That'll bring up Sal Bando.
Well, Ben, there's a lot of talk about all the controversy on the A's, but I think some fans forget they're fine professionals. They know how to execute and play the game, and they're all right into their prime now, 27, 28, 29 years old, young veterans.
Oh, sure. You put a bunch of athletes together from February into October, they're going to have some fights, disagreements, what have you. 0-1 to Bando. They have it in the office all the time, but they don't cover it in the press. Bando flied to left and struck out twice. 0-1. Big chopper. Say goes up to get it, sets and throws low and throws it away. And that's a 1 in a million play. Here comes Campaneris to score, and going all the way to third is Bando, and he's saved. Oh, we were talking about the accuracy of Ron Say's arm, and I would have to say that this is the World Series.
And he had to throw possibly a little off balance, although it looked like he righted himself quickly because the ball took a bad hop. Garvey then gets the ball, and he holds the ball just a little bit, and Sal Bando, who does not have speed, takes advantage of it.
In the top of the 8th, Campaneris is on second with Sal Bando up. Ron Say makes a nice leaping stop, but then throws wildly.
Oh, it's a big run. But you realize now that Oakland, on a wild pitch, squeezed in a run, and on Dodger error, on Ron Say, pick up another. And they're too good a ball club to make as many mistakes as the Dodgers have made. Ball 1. So Messersmith just battling now to stay in the ball game.
Alston has the two right-handers coming up, Rudy and Tennis. And they might set up a double play if they walk them. Gonna pitch from the stretch now, Ben.
1-1. High fly ball to shallow, medium center, and he should come home and score. Wynn makes one throw, and Ferguson took it with the better arm. The throw! They got him! Oh, what a play! The one arm in the outfield was able to shoot down the runner. Watch Ferguson now get in front of him.
This is a great throw, all the way on the fly, and what a block of home plate by Yeager. Look at that left foot planted.
I asked Jim Wynn if he had to make a hard throw, what would happen. Said my arm would draw up for the next 3 days. I could make one throw, and that's all.
What a magnificent throw by Joe Ferguson to double up the runner, and the A's get one at the end of 7.5. Oakland 3, Dodgers 1.
Reggie checks his glasses to get a good look at what's coming next. Jackson's fly ball appears deep enough to score Bando, but right fielder Joe Ferguson intercepts and uncorks a strike to catcher Steve Yeager. Bando is out. Let's hear Ferguson's version as we take a second look at his amazing throw.
We talked about it earlier in the game that if such a fly ball like that was a hit with a guy on third base, that if I could get there, I'd take it. And it probably looked like Jimmy Wynn was getting ready to catch the ball. And just before I caught the ball, I told him that I have it, and he said, go ahead, take it. And fortunately, I threw the ball at the right place so the catcher could make the tag. And he made a great job in holding on to the ball because it took a pretty good bump from Sal Bando.
Here's the end of that play as Bando comes in with Ferguson making one of the best plays we've seen all year, Ben and Kurt. And the guts of Steve Yeager, the catcher, and blocking that plate and holding on to the ball. An amazing throw and an amazing block at home plate.
Early ovation for Ferguson. Yeah, Kurt.
Play like that could lift the Dodgers. They need it now. They're 2 runs down. We have a change in right field. Reggie Jackson is out. Claudell Washington now, as a defensive measure, goes into right field for Oakland.
We were talking earlier about Joe Ferguson being not very aggressive at the plate, but he certainly was an aggressive outfielder, knowing that he can outthrow Wynn. With Wynn calling, he just took it away. Ball 1. It is Oakland 3 runs, 5 hits, and 2 errors. The Dodgers 1 run, 8 hits, and 1 error. Rolling fingers battling for the decision after Kenny Holtzman went 4 1/3. And so far, it's been Messersmith all the way. Ball 2. Three and 1. He lifts a fly ball to shallow center. A late start by North, but he's there. You see him muttering to himself because he had no jump at all on the fly ball. But he's still fast enough to get there.
He'll be glad to go to Oakland.
Yeah, well, they play all-night games. Because they tell me at Oakland, it's just as bad, if not worse, in the daytime.
They have that bank of concrete, and they'll have shirt-sleeve fans. And then, of course, left field, center field, especially left center is the sun field in Oakland.
Ron Say has been a pivotal figure in the game, both with the bat and the glove. With 2 on and nobody out in the second inning, he hit into a double play. Ball 1. With 2 out and the bases empty in the 4th, he singled. With 2 out and the bases loaded in the 5th, he flied out. He hit out a sink, and it's the big difference. Ball 2, so fingers behind twice. Paul Lindblad, the left-hander, throwing in the Oakland bullpen. Ball 3. When Say gets into a slump, it's not saying that he's in one now, but when he gets into a slump, he has a tendency to loop the bat and drop his right shoulder, consequently hitting a lot of pop flies and lazy fly balls. Ball 4. Well, that brings a tying run to the plate in Bill Russell. Dodger Stadium, the jewel of Los Angeles, and you're seeing it on a perfect day for exposure from high above Los Angeles. Russell grounded to short, singled a Bando's glove in the 4th inning, grounded to third in the 6th inning. Off speed and got the corner. Well, he's making some dandy pitches, his fingers. Say it first.
Interesting shot on that A's dugout. Reggie Jackson alongside Alvin Dark is positioning the young right fielder, Claudell Washington, with each hitter.
0-2.
There he is again. He's waving out to him. Jackson waving to young Washington.
What he was saying is 2 strikes on the hitter. Chances are he'll hit a little later. And be sure you throw to second base. Do not that tying run get in scoring position.
Well, down goes Russell. 2 down. And Steve Yeager will not hit. They'll go to Willie Crawford, left-hand hitting outfielder, to bat for Yeager. So Alvin Dark checking his lineup card, and here's Willie Crawford. Willie plays right field against right-handed starting and sits down against the left-handers. That's why Ferguson was out there. Of course, now he will stay in the game, and Ferguson will go behind the plate. So they'll go over the book on him.
For the Dodgers, batting for Yeager, number 27, Willie Crawford.
Willie hit .295 during the regular year. He has power. He has 11 home runs, 61 RBIs. Most of the National League pitchers like to keep the ball up and in on him, and he is very much susceptible to the strikeout on that pitch. In years past with the Dodgers, he showed remarkable power to left center, but we have not seen that this year at all.
I'd say the Dodgers probably have more depth coming out of that dugout, Ben.
I would think so. Fouled away. They're positioning the outfield. They want Washington, and they're moving him a little bit towards right center.
He doesn't know which way to turn. They move him from one to the other. He's saying, let me alone. This is my first World Series. I'm nervous enough.
And put him on a pulley.
He's only 20 years old and has played very little baseball.
Line drive down the right field line, and so much for positioning. And Say will go to third. A little knowledge is a dangerous thing. So they moved him to right center, and Crawford pulled it into right. And Von Joshua will now come up to hit for Andy Messersmith. You might wonder why, with 2 out, did Crawford hit ahead of Joshua. Crawford has much more power. So they were hoping he might jerk one out. And there's Mike Marshall getting ready for the 9th inning.
Here's a man that started the season on the spot, Alvin Dark. All he did was replace Dick Williams, who had won 2 world championships. And with a volatile owner, he's expected to do the same thing. He has them in the World Series. There's Wes Stock, the pitching coach, marking his lineup cards. But Alvin Dark definitely started the season with the toughest managerial assignment.
Dark talking to Roland Fingers. Joshua does not have power. He has 1 home run. And he goes the other way a great deal. So Alvin going back to the dugout. So with 2 out, first and third, here's the announcement on Vaughn Joshua hitting for Andy Messersmith.
For Messersmith, number 12.
Reggie Jackson is still telling Washington where to play.
He stands out their arms, and Kimba say, "What do you want me to do?"
What a ball club, huh?
They got him moving over to the right.
Boy, they're interesting to watch. They're really interesting.
All right, they play Joshua to go the other way, which is the way he goes to left field a lot. 2 out, 2 on. 3-1 Oakland, bottom of the 8th. Ball 1. The Dodgers, with Say at third, Crawford at first, have left 9 men and in danger of leaving 2 more. It's been a frustrating day for them. Ball 2. Roland Fingers is the big man, and nobody throwing down there now. If they didn't bring Lindblad in to pitch to Crawford or Joshua, there's no sense getting him up.
He's been behind nearly every hitter this inning. He's been behind 2-0 on 3 of the 4, and that's getting him in trouble.
2-0. Big chopper down to Dick Green. He got him. So for the Dodgers, no runs a hit. They leave 2 more, and at the end of 8, Oakland 3, and the Dodgers 1. The Dodgers make the anticipated change. Willie Crawford stays in the game and goes into right field. Mike Marshall takes over on the mound. And Joe Ferguson, who had been in right field, is behind the plate. So if you're keeping score, Crawford stays in the number 8 spot. Marshall bats 9. And we go to the 9th inning. 3-1 Oakland. Marshall, who has not worked now in quite a while, will be pitching to Joe Rudy, then to Gene Tennis and Ray Fosse. Incredibly enough, he was in 106 games plus 2 more in the playoffs. He worked more innings than a lot of starting pitchers. He has his degree in kinesiology, which is the study of body movements. The bunt up along third. Say was deep. Bare hand pickup. Off balance throw. Too late. So Joe Rudy lays down a dandy to greet Marshall with a base hit. We'll take another look.
And here's something that might not have been in the scouting reports of these Dodgers, that Rudy will at times lead off an inning, even though he does not have exceptional speed with that bunt. He caught him by surprise.
Tony, they say that bunting is a lost art, but the A's have really bunted beautifully today. They've had 3 sacrifices and this bunt base hit by Rudy. Perfect bunting.
And the lack of the bunt, when they took the bunt off in the 3rd inning, turned out to be a losing gamble for the Dodgers. So the bunt, very important. There's another bunt. Garvey hesitated. His play is to Lopes. Oh, 1 away.
This is a bunting clinic today.
Well, the pitching is so tough when you realize that 1 run is awfully big. And the batter with 1 out will be Ray Fosse. Down in the bullpen is knuckleballer Charlie Huff.
It would not be a surprise to see Alvin Dark bring Catfish Hunter in to pitch to 1 hitter or 2 or 1 inning, because you have an off day on Monday. And he can come back after a couple of innings. Blue's scheduled to pitch tomorrow.
Marshall has a fastball, a screwball, and a slider. 1 out. Rudy at second. That's the screwball that missed. Ball 1. Full count to Ray Fosse. That's Joe Rudy at second base. 1 away. Screwball hit down the left field line. Foul. Back in the auxiliary seat, so it's still 3-2.
Then he not only throws a screwball, but different speeds of screwballs, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. I loved his early remarks. Someone way back in spring training and the beginning of the season said, now how do you compare your screwball to Jim Brewer's and Tug McGraw? He said, their screwball is in the infantile stage. Okay.
Slightly cautious.
Okay. 3-2. Screwball, and he missed. I tell you one thing, he has not worked much, and his history has been Marshall is as effective as his frequency in appearance. So now they'll call Dick Green away. And the left-hand hitter left, Jim Holt, first baseman, will come up and hit for Green. The slider, and it's popped up, and it'll be Russell calling. The infield fly rule is called, and that'll be the second out.
Hunter set down, Vin, and now it's Dal Maxville loosening up his throwing arm to come in and play second base in the last of the ninth.
Here comes the relief specialist, rolling Fingers. So the two big men go head-to-head, Marshall and Fingers. 1-2. Fastball drilled him. That'll do it. No runs, a hit to left. And at the end of 8.5 innings, Oakland 3, Dodgers 1.
And right now, Rollie Fingers is a pitcher of record. If he holds on to this lead, he would win the opening game of the World Series. But he's going to face the top of the Dodger batting order, Lopes, Buckner, and Wynn. A shutout so far for Fingers in 3 2/3 innings, 2 hits, and no runs.
Davy Lopes has struck out. Then came the biggest play in the third inning. He had first and second and nobody out. He was around to bunt twice, and the count went to 2-0. They let him swing, and he fouled out. He was aboard on an error and flied to center. Dal Maxville is now at second base for Dick Green, and there's a strike to Davy Lopes. For Dal Maxville, it's his 22nd series game. That tops among players on the two clubs. Fly ball into center field. Bill North is there. One away.
And Vin, in case Fingers falters, Jim Hunter is warming up again out in the Oakland bullpen. That's the ace of the staff, a 25-game winner.
There's Bill North looking up into that glare. He's not had any good jumps on the shallow fly ball, but he picked that one off easily. One down, and Bill Buckner will be the batter. Our thanks to statistician Alan Roth, to production stage manager Jim O'Gorman, and field coordinator Huey McDermott, as we bring you first game of the '74 World Series. Ball one. Buckner has singled to left and flied to left, singled to right and flied to left. So he's 2 for 4. Trying to get aboard for a power hitter on deck, Jimmy Wynn. Strike. 1-1. Jimmy waiting his turn. Oakland 3, Dodgers 1, 9th inning. Buckner, the toughest to strike out on the Dodger team. And he popped it up. Campaneris coming out, and Rudy coming in. It'll be Rudy. 2 down.
And the A's continue the strong pitching that they had in the last 3 games against the Orioles. The one Dodger run today has been unearned. That was in the 5th inning.
The old story, good pitching always stops good hitting. Jimmy Wynn has flied to left, hit into a force play, walked and flied to center. For the Dodgers, a most frustrating day, since they have left 11 men on base. Only in the 7th inning did they fail to get a man aboard, and of course there are 2 outs here in the 9th. And for Oakland, they did what they had to do. They got a couple of breaks and they cashed them in. Ball 1. A 2-strike squeeze by Campaneris, squeezing home Holtzman, who had doubled. That was a big one. They got a gift run on the throwing error by Say, and in the big run, a home run by Reggie Jackson. So they haven't done much, but they have made it do. In there, 1-1. Wynn with 100 RBIs this year. He scored 100 runs. He walked over 100 times. He struck out over 100 times. He was busy. Fastball at the knees. Charlie Finley with 1 out to go.
Fingers has had an excellent fastball here in relief, really firing it.
He's doing just what they said he could do. Breaking ball and a high fly ball into left center. Back goes Rudy to the wall. Leaps up. They bump together, and it is gone. Home run. Couldn't tell for sure. We'll look at that three different ways now, Kurt. See how close they came to catching it.
Rudy watching North come over. Up they go together. What a ballet shot this is, and it just cleared.
Now we'll see it another way. Here goes North and Rudy. Boy, you can't tell even there, can you? Now you can see it bounce.
And
one more time.
Angle. One more time. Look at them scissor across each other.
Boy, that was one time.
Nothing.
I would not about to call that a home run until he was around third. They're looking in the glove to see if the ball is there.
All right, Dark's come out to talk to Fingers. Now he has only a one-run lead and one out to get, and a powerful Steve Garvey up.
Garvey is single to right, grounded to short, struck out and grounded to short. Comes up empty on that curveball, 0-1. So the Dodgers have 10 hits. Here's Rudy again looking in North's glove, and North said it's empty. He goes to right field. It's a base hit. Washington over to get it. And Garvey holding with his second single to right. So the Dodgers are still alive, and this record-breaking crowd roaring for Joe Ferguson.
Some of the fans have started for the exit. They've a hasty comeback. Now Alvin Dark coming out, looking to the bullpen. And he's going to bring his ace on, Jim Hunter, who pitched Tuesday. He opened the playoffs and lost to Baltimore.
Well, friends, there's a break in the action here in Los Angeles. Oakland 3, the Dodgers 2 with 2 out in the 9th inning. Don't go away.
Jim Catfish Hunter, as his name was announced to the crowd, they went, ooh, bringing in a 25-game winner. This is the first relief appearance of the season for him. He pitched last Wednesday against the Orioles, 7 innings. Relief help from Fingers as the A's won the pennant. Now he's back in here again today because he's not scheduled to pitch until Tuesday night. 2 teams play here tomorrow with Sutton against Vida Blue, a 1 o'clock start on NBC Eastern Time, an open game date on Monday, and then they'll play Tuesday evening. So they're asking Hunter to come in and try and get this last out. But Chorik now is running at first base for Garvey, and Joe Ferguson is the man that Jim Hunter's going to face, then.
Catfish Hunter is not a particularly strikeout type of pitcher, but he has marvelous control, and he has full command of all of his pitches. One of the big reasons he keeps things down, and he will never give in on a hitter. He'll challenge him all the time. He'll stay on top of him. Joe Ferguson has walked and been hit by a pitch, struck out and flied to center. Bashoric at first, 2 out in the 9th, 3-2 Oakland. Fastball away, ball 1. Ray Fosse holding up 2 fingers to keep everybody in the ball game. 2 out.
This must be strange to him. 1 relief appearance in the last 5 years.
Ball 2. One thing, as a starting pitcher being pressed into relief, he had plenty of time to get ready. He was down in the bullpen longer than he would normally take to start a game. 2-0 to Ferguson. Bashoric at first. 2 out in the 9th. 3-2 Oakland. The Dodgers with 11 hits, but only 2 runs. 2-1.
Dark going all out. The opening game is important. The team that won the opening game has won the series 42 times. The other club 28. And you win the opening game as a visitor, all the more important.
2 balls, 1 strike. Half swing foul. He busted him right in on the hands. 2-2. Ferguson knows he's going to swing. Dark knows that Catfish throws strikes. And so does Walter Alston. 2-2 to Fergie, 2 out. 9th inning, 3-2 Oakland. Pashorek at first. Got him, and that'll do it. As the catfish comes in and strikes out Joe Ferguson. And the Dodgers in the 9th inning settle for 1 run, a home run by Jimmy Wynn. 2 hits. They leave yet another man. They left a dozen. It'll be known as the Dirty Dozen in Los Angeles. And Alvin Dark and the Oakland A's. Squabbling made the headlines yesterday, but clutch pitching, timely hitting, and a better defense made the headline today. The totals, as you see, Oakland with 3 hits, 3 runs, 6 hits, and 2 errors. The Dodgers 2 runs, 11 hits, and 1 error.
Joe Ferguson's 300-foot bullet-like throw is certainly worth watching one more time. Ferguson's incredible heroics keep the Dodgers' deficit at 2 runs going into the bottom of the 9th. With 2 men out, Jim Wynn represents the final Los Angeles hope. Look in the glove, it just might be there. Joe Rudy and Bill North are the last to know that Jimmy Wynn has a home run, and it's now 3-2 Oakland. A Steve Garvey single brings Catfish Hunter in for his only relief appearance of the year. Hunter preserves the A's victory while the Dodgers set a series record, 12 men left on base.